I've walked the same 2-mile loop every morning since I was 52. Out the drive, up past the Whitakers, left at the culvert, back along the creek, 14 years of it, which is about 10,000 times, which is about 20,000 miles, which is most of the way around the earth. And I've never been anywhere, that's the joke I make at church. Been around the world twice, all of it between here and the Duncan place. And everybody laughs and I laugh, and it's a good line, it isn't a joke at all. And that's why I keep saying it. Roads that know my footsteps, same gravel, same grade, same bend. There's a rut where I go around the puddle that I've been going around since 2011. Nobody's ever gonna write it down, nobody's ever gonna care. But there's 2 miles of Ohio that's got my whole life in it. Roads that know my footsteps, I've breathed on it, that's the main thing it's been for. Walked my mother out of me in the spring of 14, hard in the rain. Walked out a diagnosis that turned out to be nothing. Walked out my son's divorce, which took the better part of a year. I've been happy on a 2-hour walk at Rebecca. There's a stretch by the Whitakers where the light comes through in October that has made me stop walking and stand there like a fool more times than I can count, with nobody around to see. Roads that know my footsteps, same gravel, same grade, same bend. There's a road where I go around the mother line. I'm going to my nobody's ever gonna write it down, nobody's ever gonna care. But there's 2 miles of Ohio that's got my whole life in it. Roads that know my footsteps. Marge Whitaker died in August 91 when in her sleep. And I realized at the service that I'd waved at that woman 10,000 times and never once had a conversation. She'd be out with her coffee and I'd come by, she'd lift a hand, and her daughter said to me after she used to wait for you, she'd say, there goes the walker. She had you at about 6:40. She'd work you were late. She said I meant the day it started, and I had to go outside because I never knew, I never had one idea that a woman I never spoke to organized her morning around me, and that I had been for 14 years somebody's small but liable thing, and I never gave her anything but a hand up in the air. Roads that know my footsteps. There's a new family in that house, young one city people, and they've got a boy about 11 who's out there in the driveway with a basketball most mornings. And I don't just wave now, I stop, I say his name, I ask about the game. Takes me 90 seconds and it costs me nothing, and I'm not making that mistake again. Roads that know my footsteps, somebody's watching for you on whatever route you're walking. Say something, say something, say something. Out the drive up past the Whitakers, left at Walgreens put the pencils out the second week of July, and she saw them from the cart. Got so quiet in the seat, and I said, hey, we've got a month. And she said 29 days, 9 years old and counting. She had it down to the day. Her mother gets her school year, that's the arrangement, that's the paper. 9 weeks in the summer and every other Christmas, and you'd think you'd learn to hold it lighter after 7 summers, and you don't. You just get better at not showing her. Running out of August, that's the sound in this house all month. Every morning's got a number on it, every good day costs you one. We don't say it, we don't count out loud, but we're both doing the math. Running out of August, running out of August. We do the same things every year, and I know that's not exciting. The lake on the first Saturday, the fair, the drive-in in Millersburg. And I asked her once if she wanted to go somewhere real, as Chicago, the ocean arc. And she said, no, I want it to be the same. And I understood exactly, because the same is what she doesn't get. The same is the whole point. Same pancakes, same bad movie, same argument about the dog. 9 weeks of a life instead of 9 weeks of a vacation. That's the only thing I've got to give her that her mother can't. Oh, running out of August, that's the sound in this house all month. Every morning's got a number on it, every good day costs you one. We don't say it, we don't count out loud, but we're both doing the math. Running out of August, last Tuesday of 4 days left till she came in about 11. She never does, she's asleep when she's out at night like clockwork, and she stood in the doorway and she said, "Dad, can I ask you something? Do you get sad in the winter?" And I could not lie to her. I said, "Yeah, baby, I do. Not all the time, but yeah." And she said, "Me too." And then she said, "The thing that I'll carry, I thought maybe you were fine." And I felt bad about being sad if you were fine, so I'm glad you're not fine. Is that mean? And I said, "No, that's not mean. That's the least mean thing I ever heard." And she got in the chair with me like she was 5 instead of 9. And we sat there a long while. And I said, "Listen, we're sad because it's good. If it wasn't good, we wouldn't be. The sad is the good, honey. It's the same thing. It's the price of it." And she said, "Okay." And she went to bed, and I sat in that chair till 2. Running out of August. Put her on the plane on Sunday, bought the ticket, packed the bag to the hug at the gate, where you hold it for exactly as long as she wants and not 1 second less, and drove home to a house with the pancake pan still out. And I didn't put it away for a week, and that's my business, and I'm fine. Running out of August, 280 days, and then the lake on the first Saturday, and then we start again. There's a line where the desert meets the sea, where you swore you'd always wait for me. Salt on your skin, wind in your hair. I said I'd come back, but I never got there. You burned like the sun on an endless day. I moved like the tide, always slipping away. We were fire and water, wild and strange, 2 hearts that never learned to change. Salt and sage, we tried to heal with the things we couldn't say or feel. You were the desert, I was the wave, always pulling, never brave. And all that love just slipped away between the salt and the sage. I still taste you in the ocean air, in every quiet I'm standing there. And the dust in my lungs won't let me forget all the words that I never said. You drew a line in the shifting sand. I watched it fade, but I didn't stand. Now every horizon just feels the same, wide open space with no one to blame. Salt and sage, we tried to heal with the things we couldn't say or feel. You were the desert, I was the always pulling, never brave. And all that love just slipped away between the salt and the sage. If I could go back to that shoreline night, I'd hold you closer, I'd stay and fight. The past don't bend and the tide won't wait, and love don't always outrun fate. Salt and sage I carry still, the weight of us, the space we fill. You were the ground I couldn't stay. Now every prayer just sounds the same, calling out your name in vain. And I'm left with what we couldn't save. There's a place where the waves don't reach, where your memory still holds to me, and I walk that line alone each day between the salt and the sage. There's a sign on 30 says you're leaving Wexford County. About 400 feet of nothing before the next one says you're in. And that little strip of road between them didn't belong to anybody. And that's exactly why we went there when we were 17. Wexford had a curfew and a deputy who knew our trucks, and Delaney County had a sheriff who knew our fathers. But that 400 feet, nobody patrolled it, nobody claimed it. We'd park out there on the shoulder like we'd found a country of our own. Shadows on the county line, 6 kids and 2 tailgates down. Nobody's jurisdiction, nobody's son and nobody's town for about 400 feet. You could be whoever you were going to be. Shadows on the county line, shadows on the county line. That's where Bobby said out loud he wasn't going to farm, where Christine told us all at once what her stepfather was doing, where I said I liked a boy from Delaney and nobody moved a muscle, and Denny said, yeah, alright, and passed the bottle along. You couldn't say those things in Wexford, not in 1986, not in a kitchen, not at church, not in a parked car in town. But out there in the dark between two places that had rules, the rules just kind of thinned out, and we got to be honest. Shadows on the county line, 6 kids and 2 tailgates down, nobody's jurisdiction, nobody's son and nobody's town for about 400 feet. You could be whoever you were going to be. Shadows on the county line, shadows on the county line. Christine got out, she's in Madison, she's a nurse, she's alright. Bobby didn't farm, he sells insurance and he's happy, God love him. Denny's gone, that was 99, and we don't talk about how, and I stayed, and I'm the one who's still here to tell it. And last October, my kid is 16, quiet, been struggling, asked if he could take the truck out on a Friday, and I said, where to? And he said, nowhere, just out. Something in me knew, and I said, there's a stretch of 30 past the Wexford sign, about 400 feet before you're in Delaney. There's a wide spot on the shoulder, your mother and I used to park there, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said, take a jacket, don't drink and drive, say whatever you need to say out there. It doesn't count against you, nothing said out there ever counted against anybody. Shadows on the county line. He came home at 1:30, and he sat down at the kitchen table, and he told me something I had waited 3 years for him to say. I said, okay, alright, thank you, I love you, go on to bed. And I sat there in that kitchen till the sun came up, just grateful. 400 feet of road that don't belong to anybody. Shadows on the county line. Every town needs one, every kid needs somewhere that's nobody's but their own. 2 signs, 400 feet, a wide spot in the gravel. She had a voice, my mother, and she wasted every bit of it on dishes, on the radio, on a room that had nobody in it. Wednesday afternoons when we were all at school and work, you could stand out in the driveway and hear her going through that window. Never sang in church, wouldn't say the choir was for show-offs. Never sang at a wedding, never sang when we asked her to. But you'd come home early once in a while and catch her at the sink, and she'd stop cold, embarrassed, like you'd walked in on her praying, singing to an empty kitchen. That's the whole of her career, 30,000 hours of it, and an audience of a refrigerator and a chair. There's no recording anywhere, there's no one left who's heard it much, singing to an empty kitchen, singing to an empty kitchen. I asked her once why she wouldn't do it in front of anybody, and she said because it is for somebody and that it's not mine. And I was 19 and full of opinions, and I said that's a waste, and she said, sweetheart, it is the only thing I do that isn't. 41 years of cooking for people who didn't notice, cleaning for people who'd mess it up by Tuesday, driving people places, and 1 hour on a Wednesday of a sound that was just hers, that she made and that she kept and that she never handed over. Singing an empty kitchen, that's the whole of her career, 30,000 hours of it, and an audience of a refrigerator and a chair. There's no recording anywhere, there's no one left who's heard it much, singing to an empty kitchen, singing to an empty kitchen. Last spring in the hospital, she was down to almost nothing, and I was doing the thing you do to sit for the ice chips, and the room got very quiet in that 4 a.m. kind of way, and I heard something and I looked up and she was singing Barely Under You to Missed It from the door. Same song I heard through that window when I was 7 years old, and she didn't know I was awake. I made sure not to move, and she went on for about a minute and a half, and then she stopped, and she said without opening her eyes, you always did come in early. And she laughed, and that was the last good hour we had, singing to an empty kitchen. It's my kitchen now, they sold me the house, and I've got a family in it, and it's loud and it's a mess, and on Wednesdays when they're all out, I stand there in that sink and I do it, and I'm terrible, and it isn't for anybody, and I finally understand what she was keeping back and why, singing to an empty kitchen. There's one thing that's got to be yours, one thing nobody gets to hear, one thing that isn't a chore. Water running, radio off, nobody in the drive, a woman's whole entire soul let out for 1 hour a week, and nobody heard it, and nobody was supposed to, and it was the best thing in that house, and it was the best thing in that house. She had a voice, my mother, and she wasted every bit of it on dishes on the radio, on a room that had nobody in it. Wednesday afternoons when we were all at school and work, you could stand out in the driveway and hear her going through that window. Never sang in church, wouldn't said the choir was for show-offs. Never sang at a wedding, never sang when we asked her to. But you'd come home really once in a while and catch her at the sink, and she'd stop cold embarrassed like you'd walked in on her praying. Singing to an empty kitchen, that's the whole of her career. 30,000 hours of it, an audience, a refrigerator and a chair. There's no recording anywhere, there's no one left who's heard it much. Singing to an empty kitchen, singing to an empty kitchen. I asked her once why she wouldn't do it in front of anybody, and she said because then it's for somebody, and then it's not mine. And I was 19 and full of opinions, and I said that's a waste, and she said, sweetheart, it is the only thing I do that isn't. 41 years of cooking for people who didn't notice, cleaning for people who'd mess it up by Tuesday, driving people places, and 1 hour on a Wednesday of a sound that was just hers, that she made and that she kept and that she never handed over. Singing to an empty kitchen, it's the whole of her career. 30,000 hours of it, an audience, a refrigerator and a chair. There's no recording anywhere, there's no one left who's heard it much. Singing to an empty kitchen, singing to an empty kitchen. Last spring in the hospital, she was down to almost nothing. I was doing the thing you do, the sitting in the ice chips. The room got very quiet in that 4 a.m. kind of way. I heard something and I looked up and she was singing, barely. You'd have missed it from the door, same song I heard through that window when I was 7 years old and she didn't know I was awake. I made sure not to move and she went on for about a minute and a half and then she stopped. She said without opening her eyes, you always did come in early, and she laughed. And that was the last good hour we had, singing to an empty kitchen. It's my kitchen now, they sold me the house and I've got a family in it. And it's loud and it's a mess, and on Wednesdays when they're all out, I stand there at that sink. And I do it for the telephone, and it isn't for anybody. And I finally understand what she was keeping back and why. Singing to an empty kitchen, it's one thing that's gotta be yours, one thing nobody gets to hear, one thing that isn't a chore. Water running, radio off, nobody in the drive, a woman's whole entire soul let out for 1 hour a week. And nobody heard it, nobody was supposed to, and it was the best thing in that house, and it was the best thing in that house. Somewhere between gone and home. Third shift lets out at 6 and I've got 50 minutes of road, and I could do it in 35, but I have never once tried. There's a stretch past the reservoir where the fog sits in the low parts, and I slow down to about 40 and I let the world come up. Cause when I walk in that door, I'm dad and I'm on lunches and the bus stop and the thing with the school and the money and back. At the plan, I'm a number on a board and a pair of hands, and out here on this road for 50 minutes, I'm just our guy driving somewhere between gone and home. That's the only country I've got, no one needs a thing from me, no one's counting on me for a solitary thought. Just the fog and the fence posts and the radio down low, somewhere between gone and home. My wife figured it out about a year in, smart woman, said you take the long way, don't you? And I got so defensive, said it's not I'm not doing anything, I'm not out. She said, honey, stop, I'm not accusing you, I'm saying I'm glad, take an hour if you need it. And that's love if you wanna know that right there, not the wedding. A woman who understands that a man can be all the way in and still need 50 minutes when nobody wants anything from him. Who doesn't make him lie about it, doesn't make him pay. Somewhere between gone and home, that's the only country I've got, no one needs a thing from me, no one's counting on me for a solitary thought. Just the fog and the fence posts and the radio down low, somewhere between gone and home. 11 years of that road, then they closed the plant in March, and I got a job in town 6 minutes from the driveway, better money. And everybody said, isn't that a blessing? And it is that. And I did not know how to be a person for about 4 months, cause I come in the door at 5:04 with the plant still on me. No fog, no fence posts, no 50 minutes to put the day down. And I was short with the kids and I was nothing in the evenings, and I couldn't say why, and it nearly cost me everything. Then one night my wife handed me the keys and said, go drive the reservoir. And I said, that's stupid, that's 40 minutes for no reason. And she said, yeah, that's what it's for. And I went, and I came back a person. And now I go on Tuesdays and on Fridays, and whenever it gets bad, and nobody in that house has ever once made me explain it. Somewhere between gone and home, there's gotta be a somewhere. Everybody needs a stretch of flow between who they are for money and who they are for love. It's not a betrayal, it's not a place you go to leave, it's the place you go so you can walk in that door. Somebody worth having somewhere between gone and home. Take a long way, brother, take a long way, then come on in. Fog in the low parts, 40 miles an hour. Radio down low. September like it was just a month, like it wasn't the whole edge of everything we had. And you nodded like he told you where to park, and then you asked him if the roses would still bloom. We drove home the long way past the reservoir and the school, and you said, well, it's a summer, it's a decent lot of days. And I gripped the wheel so hard I thought the bone would come through skin. And you put your hand on mine and said, not yet, not yet, not today. Somewhere past September, it's a country I don't know, where the mornings come without you and the coffee's made for one and the light comes in the window. I can see it from here, like weather on the hill, and I can't stop it and I can't slow it, and I'm standing on the summer still. Somewhere past September, somewhere past September. So we did the things you'd think. I hate the beach, the lake, your sister. We did the things you wouldn't, to reorganize the shed. You showed me where the water shut-off was and how the mower starts, and made me write it down and made me read it back. That's how you love me, not in speeches, but in fuse boxes and lists. And the gutters need a clean in March, and called Dolores, she's alone. You spent your last good summer teaching me to live here without you, and I have never known a harder or a kinder kind of love. Somewhere past September, there's a country I don't know, where the mornings come without you and the coffee's made for one and the light comes in the window. I can see it from here, love, like weather on the hill, and I can't stop it and I can't slow it, and I'm standing on summer still. Somewhere past September, we went the second week of it, the windows on the right, it was written somewhere, and the last of the tomatoes on the sill. And I thought the world would stop or crack or make some kind of sound, and it just kept being Tuesday, it just kept on being Tuesday. And that's the part that no one tells you, and that's the part that almost killed me, and that's the part that saved my life. Is that October came and I was in it, and the gutters needed cleaning, and I knew how. Somewhere past September, 2 years and 4 months out, now it starts on the second pull, just like I said. And I say it out loud, I call Dolores every Sunday, I put roses in the ground. Somewhere past September, somewhere past September, you got me here somehow. The leaves are going early this year, you'd have something to say about that. There's a chill in the kitchen and your coat's still on the rack, and I'm not taking it down yet, I'm not taking it down yet, but I'm here and it's after 3. We said the hard things standing in the shallows in July. Water to our shins and neither one of us could sit, cause the house had gotten too small for the sentences we had. So we walked down to the creek like the creek could hold the weight. You said, I don't think I love you the way I did. I said, I know. You said, I don't wanna leave. I said, I know that too. And a heron went up off the far bank like it had hurt enough, and we stood there in the cold with our feet on the stones. Stones in the riverbed, 2 hard things down under all that going. Not moving, not touching, just staying, just warm then. Everything we used to be got carried off downstream, and what was left was solid, and it wasn't what we dreamed. Stones in the riverbed. 14 years, no villain in it, that's the part that's cruel. Nobody drank, nobody wanted, nobody raised a hand. We just got smooth, we just got quiet, we just got round and cold. And you can't file a grievance with a river, can you love? I kept waiting for a reason big enough to say out loud, something I could tell my mother, something friends could understand. But it was Tuesdays, it was silences, it was 2 people being kind, going out of one another slow the way the water does. Stones in the riverbed, 2 hard things down under all that going. Not moving, not touching, just staying, just warm. And everything we used to be got carried off downstream, and what was left was solid, and it wasn't what we dreamed. Stones in the riverbed. Before we walked back up, you bent down in the water. You came up with two of them, gray and round and nothing much. And you put one in my hand and you closed my fingers on it. And you said it wasn't a waste, don't you ever let it be a waste. And I've got it in the truck, console under the napkins. 8 years in 2 states and a whole other life since then. And when I'm at a red light and my hand goes down there looking, I can feel exactly how the creek felt and exactly how you looked. And I don't want you back and I don't want it gone. Both things, both things. Stones in the riverbed. You got a husband and a garden. I got a woman who laughs loud in a house that isn't quiet, thank the Lord. And I hope you take your shoes off somewhere shallow every June. And I hope the cold still gets you. And I hope you think of me and then don't for a while. Stones in the riverbed. We were real, we were real. Worn down don't mean it never was. Worn down means it took. Tearing off the floor and water to the shins. Two people standing honest in the coldest thing there is. It wasn't a waste. No, honey, no, it wasn't. There's a line on the horizon, dark and low, like a secret I've been trying not to know. Windows rattle with the truth I keep inside. Every quiet part of me's about to collide. I've been holding back the thunder in my chest, playing calm while every nervous second guessed. But your name rolls in like distant drums at night, and I feel the sky inside me split with light. I've got a storm front heart rolling in from miles away. You can feel it in the silence before the words I'm scared to say. If I break, it won't be gentle. If I fall, it'll be hard. I don't know how to love you with a storm front heart. There's a pressure building I can't outrun, like the air before the lightning comes undone. You reach for me like shelter from the rain, but I've only ever known how to bring the pain. I tried to be the blue sky in your day, but the gray in me won't just fade away. And I'm terrified you'll finally see the truth. I'm the kind of weather that ruins you. I've got a storm front heart rolling in from miles away. You can feel it in the silence before the words I'm scared to say. If I break, it won't be gentle. If I fall, it'll be hard. I don't know how to love you with a storm front heart. But you stand there steady in the pouring rain, like you're not afraid of the flood or the pain. And you say every storm runs out of sky, but I never stayed long enough to see it dry. I've got a storm front heart, but I'm learning how to stay through the crash of every feeling and the things I couldn't say. If I break, let it be open. If I fall, let down my guard. Maybe there's a kind of healing for a storm front heart. The rain slows down, the clouds drift apart. There's a quiet I don't recognize in my heart. For the first time I don't feel so far from who I am and where you